it's me Hamid in Vietnam again. So today I will be following one of the hottest topic in Vietnam, especially recently since the lockdown, because government has been changing a lot of things regarding visa, work permit and TRC for foreigners who are living in Vietnam. So today I'm meeting Annie from Tubut company here in Hanoi, and basically I will be asking her about the changes about TRC, work permits and everything you need to know, and I hope you find it useful. So hello Annie.
Hello everyone, I'm Annie and would love to be your little visa guide today. Hope you can get a lot of information out of this.
Okay, thank you so much. So the first question that probably everybody wants to know is, what is the benefit of having a work permit for TRC, and what is actually work permit and TRC? I know this is a big topic.
It is, yeah.
It's a very huge topic.
Yeah. I may take a lot of time to explaining this. Well, if
I just want to open it a bit and understand what is it and how does it work and things like that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so if you are living in Vietnam and you're working in here, so the work permit is what allows you to be able to work in Vietnam legally. As the name of it, is permission. It's permit for you to be able to work. Not to live in Vietnam, not to stay, but just to work in Vietnam legally.
Right, it's before working.
Yeah,
so
for
if you're working here, you don't need a work permit.
Exactly. So if you're working here under any type of position, any kind of job, you need a work permit. And the work permit usually it lasts for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years long, right? So in that 2 years, after that 2 years, you have to either renew it with the same company, or you have to switch the company, then you have to do another work permit. Now, even in that 2 years, if you change the company, you cannot carry on the work permit, because the work permit is only sponsored by one specific company at a time.
So the work permit is sponsored by a certain company or a person. So during the 2 years or 1 year or whatever it is, if you change your job, you need to change your work permit as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So if you have a work permit already, you cannot just carry on another company. It wouldn't work. And usually the work permit is the company's responsibility for you.
For you, yeah.
Because they need to sponsor you in order for you to work for
That's
them.
right. That's right.
So it's their responsibility. Now, after you get a work permit, now that's allowed you to work in Vietnam legally, but it not allowed you to live in Vietnam legally. Then you need something we call TRC, which is temporary residence card, and that helps you to live in Vietnam legally, not to work in Vietnam legally.
Okay.
So if you want to work and live in Vietnam legally, you need two: work permit and TRC. Now, for TRC, there are pretty much 3 grounds that you can get a TRC from. The first one is you need to marry a Vietnamese, so marriage TRC, which is very nice and easy.
But also complicated.
Exactly, easy and complicated. We can go into that in more details. So the first ground. The second ground is a work permit. So obviously, if you work in here, then you will be able to have enough grounds for you to get the TRC. And the third one is that if you are an investor in Vietnam, so you invest anything. Well, in Vietnam, there is no minimum amount that they say that you need to invest. However, it needs to make sense for the company. So if you invest too low on it, they may not give you enough time on the TRC. They can give you investor visa from 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to 4 years.
Actually, I have a question. So if you're an investor for a company, any company, then I think you do not need a work permit anymore.
No, you do not. So that is the 3 grounds. So obviously,
it's one of the good benefits of TRC actually.
Exactly. So the work permit is only on cover 1 ground, and the marriage cover 1 ground, and then the investor visa cover 1 ground. So each of them you can get a TRC. Now the TRC is basically a long-term visa. It's nothing more. And if you get a visa for 1 year above, from 1 year above,
2 or 3 years,
then you need a TRC. Then it becomes, that visa becomes a TRC, which is a separate card for you. But if you have a long-term visa but under 1 year, then you still get a visa stamp on your passport. But it's exactly the same. It does the same thing. That is allow you to live legally in Vietnam.
Okay, thank you, Annie. So I think it was pretty straightforward and clear about the benefits of TRC and work permits, which Annie has already explained to us. What do they need in order to apply for a work permit? Because it's good to know what you need before you come in here. Because I know that, of course, that if you come here, then you are in lack of some documents, then you are in trouble.
Yeah.
So what do they need before coming here? How to prepare or what to prepare?
Okay. So that's a few things you need, but the first and foremost and the most important things is you need a company to sponsor you. So you need an actual companies in Vietnam. Think about it this way. The government doesn't know who you are,
Yeah.
where you're from, and how to manage you, and they are not allowed to control you.
Cannot do that.
But they can control the companies, the Vietnamese registered company in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Therefore, they would only want to deal with that level of control. So they only want someone that they can control. So someone needs to sponsor you, represent you,
Yeah.
and they can call up that someone or some company and ask for you anytime they want.
Yeah.
So that's why they need you to be sponsored by a company. So
Yeah.
you cannot just go a freelancing in Vietnam. So that
We don't
wouldn't
have this
work.
option now in Vietnam. In Thailand, I lived in Thailand, we do
Mhm.
have that retire visa as well.
Yeah.
In many countries they do have, but
Yeah.
here we don't have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very important in Vietnam that when you in Vietnam, you either sponsored by a company or a Vietnamese person. So marriage is the Vietnamese person, or company, which is investor visa or like a normal working visa.
Yeah.
Even tourist visa is sponsored by
By
a
some-
travel company.
Travel
So you always are sponsored by someone, right? So you need to find a company that willing to sponsor you for the work permit, meaning they have to sign up the paper who is, they'll be responsible for you, they'll be sponsored for you for a long term, 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years. Then you will need a degree for your certain field. If you are a marketer, you need a marketing degree in order to apply for the marketing job, or work for a company as a marketing manager or like a marketer for the company. And that degrees have to be legalized and notarized
In your country.
in Vietnamese embassy in your country,
In your country.
or in your embassy in Vietnam.
Okay.
So either or. But make sure you check about it first before you come into Vietnam, because the last thing you want is to send that important document back to your home country, to Vietnam embassy to do it for you. So for example, the UK is the big example for that. They wouldn't do it in Vietnam at the UK embassy. So if you're from the UK, you need to notarize it
But anyway, I think
beforehand.
in any occasion, the best way is to do it before come here.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Through the embassy or through the official
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, obviously, if you are already thinking of like a company that you work for and you've got to do work permit, then surely you need to get it notarized in
So the best
Vietnam
is to
embassy.
notarize your documents just before coming to Vietnam. Do
Yeah.
it.
And then you also need to have experience letter from 3 to 5 years on a certain level. So for example, if you are applying to become a marketer, like a marketing
Or any position.
or any position, right? Then you need to have, so maybe your degrees is very general on a lot of things, right? You could be degrees on journalism, communication, things like that. But to prove that you can work as marketing manager or a marketer, a consultant, you need to have 3 to 5 years experience on that. And these 3 to 5 years experience letter have to come from companies outside of Vietnam, not in Vietnam.
That shows that you've been working for them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And also have to be notarized as well.
Okay, so
So-
degrees, the experience letter.
Yeah. So the most important thing is the company's position, the company field, and the position you take in this company, the degrees that you have, and the experience letter have to be aligned.
Okay.
So have to be in the same field or
Okay.
same
You
industry.
cannot be teacher, work for an IT company.
Exactly.
you
Or an
cannot be a
IT
chef,
working
work
for a
visa
teaching company. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it has to make sense,
Okay.
and it has to align up with each other.
Okay.
So therefore, there are a lot of people who come to Vietnam as teachers. They do not have a teaching degree, which is very hard to get a work permit in Vietnam. And if they have an IT degree, it wouldn't work if they act like a teacher or like work like a teacher in Vietnam. If they are native speakers, then there are some ways to do it. For example, you can get the experience letter, you can get like teaching certificate. But if you are not a native speaker, that's very hard.
Yeah, that will be more expensive. So anyway, all in all, I think the best way is just to notarize all your documents, degrees, certificates, experiences before coming here. I think that's a very straightforward and clear answer on that. So just notarize your documents before coming here. If you are aiming to come here and work, find a job or something like that. Yeah. So how about TRC? What do we require? Okay, I don't want to work for any company. I want to open a restaurant, for example.
Mhm.
So then, if I open a restaurant, then I will get a TRC because I'm an investor, right?
Yeah.
Then what do I need for that? I don't want to get into details of the restaurant things. I'm just specific the TRC thing.
Okay. So for the investment visa or investment TRC, you need to prove that you actually open up a company. So you are the name or the representative, or you have the majority shareholder of the company.
Yeah.
Then you have to prove that you actually put the money inside the company, or they're having the money to put in the company.
You need a proof of the investment.
Yeah, so you need to prove an investment either from your bank account in your home country, sending to a bank account under your name in here, or under the company's name in here, or you need to open up a new company, a new account in Vietnam and put your money on that, and you have to prove that you have that money. So it's either anything from $20,000 above, and up. Like you can easily open a bank account and open up a business and have a business license. And once you have a business license, you have all of that proof, evidence, statement of that you have the money that you can apply for the TRC. Now up to, it depends on how much you actually put in the company that you have, however long the TRC for the investment visa would be.
Okay.
If you invest in Vietnam more than 3 billion Vietnam dong, meaning you can get up to 3 years for the TRC for investor.
But that's a big money, 3 billion.
3 billion. But if you actually thinking of open like a big company in Vietnam or like a big industry, then that's the way to go.
Yeah.
If you invest less than 3 billion, you can get anything from 6 months to 1 year. 1 year.
So actually, this is I think a new rule because.
Yes, this is from the beginning of this year.
Okay, so yeah. So the duration of your temporary resident cards or TRC depends on the amount that you invest actually in your company. So if you invest something like 3 billion, then you are eligible to get a 3 years TRC, which allow you to work, operate, and live in Vietnam. It's one of the best way actually.
It is.
Yeah, it's one of the best way.
It comes with a lot of money.
Yes, of course. money talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then what if I'm a teacher, for example, coming to Vietnam, and I don't have that level of experience?
Okay.
So then, what do I have to do? What should I do?
It depends.
I mean, I say teacher, it could be anything, marketer, or chef, or whatever.
Yeah. Teachers is a little bit of a very sensitive topic right now because of due to the last couple of years, there are so many teachers in Vietnam or like coming to Vietnam and claiming to be teachers and teaching, and the government cannot control it.
Yeah.
And what
but actually, it was because I lived. Sorry to cut you.
It's alright.
I lived in Thailand before I come here 7 years ago, and yeah, I see a lot of travelers. I'm traveling in Southeast Asia. And after Thailand, I'm gonna be in Vietnam because I'm gonna go there, teach for 6 months, get some money, and continue traveling. I mean, but I think these things has ended already somehow.
Yeah, well, over the last few years, not counting the COVID period, but over the last few years, it has been quite bad in Vietnam because of that. Like because of a lot of travelers and backpackers become teachers, and the government doesn't want that to happen. Yeah. Therefore,
to teach, you need to be a real teacher actually.
Exactly.
To prove your.
Exactly. So teaching position is a bit of a more sensitive, topics when it comes to schools, and it's quite a lot of levers. So, for example, if you're at English centers, it's different from if you're actually a school.
Okay.
It's different as well. So the requirements are different. And if you are a native speaker, so the requirements are different. And if you're a non-native speaker, the requirements are different as well. So before February this year, even South Africa was classed as native speakers, but now South Africa was not, is not native speaker anymore.
Okay, so they're
in
not
the list.
Considered as a native.
No, it's not considered as a native
so
speaker
therefore,
anymore.
the requirements is different as well.
Exactly, and I know there's a lot of South African citizens out there that are very fuming about this, which makes sense because English is actually their mother tongues, and then for some of them, so they cannot say anything. But it is, what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Anyway, so this is like you said, this is what it is, and we cannot change it. So
yeah.
It's a requirement by the government. So yeah. The question that I want to ask is: someone come here, got all the experience and things like that, but they somehow forgot to legalize the documents they have. You mentioned previously before that they can do it through the embassy here. Is it always the case?
Is not always the case. Just like I said, for example, the UK, you cannot do it in Vietnam. You just have to actually send it back to the UK
It's another hassle.
office. It is very hassle. You know, for the UK, you also have to go through a solicitors
Okay.
in there, kind of like an agency, right? So they do that for you as
So
well.
best is to just, guys, listen to me. Legalize your documents and then notarize them in your home country before coming to Vietnam. That will be much better, faster, easier, and then no hassle free we call it.
Yeah.
So how long is the work permit? You say 1-2 years, right?
Yeah, usually 1-2 years. Sometimes some people actually ask for 6 months, but you know, that's very rarely the case. Usually for the same amount of money, you're gonna get 2 years, then why not?
So why not? Yeah. So okay. So the actual work permit could last for 2 years if you apply for it here. Is there any, or according to your experience, any cases that they've been refused for work permit? Because recently, since the visa regulations has been changed since the beginning of 2021, in
Yeah.
March I think, or February, don't remember, I heard a lot of expats were complaining my work permit has been refused by the immigration, and my agent said they cannot process that. So what is the reason behind this?
A lot of it related to teaching. So there was a big change in terms of either native speakers, non-native speakers, and summer documents required. So for non-native speaker now, they need a teaching degree, an actual teaching degrees,
It's
not
like
just an education
TESOL,
degree.
IELTS, things like
No, that is a teaching certificate.
Okay.
Teaching degrees is what you have
You
as your
study-
bachelor
okay,
in the university. So you actually need to have a college degrees in teaching
Related to teaching.
or
Okay.
or university degrees in teaching, and it have to be teaching, right? And you know, even for school, it's been tightened up. Like you actually have to have it from the bachelor's in teaching, right? It's not just higher education. It's not just education general, but it have to be teaching. So that is really big reason why a lot of things have been, you know, really hard for some people to get the work permit. And that was because of the changing rules, regulations. So they actually been refused because of
Okay.
that.
Okay. So yeah, things has been changed a lot. I didn't know actually this one, but then yeah, good to know.
Yeah.
So when applying for a work permit,
Mhm.
imagine I'm in a certain country, not in Vietnam.
Mhm. Okay.
I got a job in Vietnam,
Mhm.
and then my company is doing my visa, my things.
Yeah.
So can my company actually apply for my work permit when I'm not in Vietnam? Or do I have to be here first? Because I heard you need to be here first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for work permit, you have to be here. You would have to hand in a copy of your whole passport, a scan of your whole passport, and in that they can
4
check
pages.
all pages.
Oh wow.
And in that they can check easily if you are in Vietnam or not, right?
Okay.
And it is submitted to Labor Department, not the Immigration Office.
Okay.
And you have to have a valid visa in order to apply. Now this may cause a lot of people confused because a lot of people just only think that they can apply for work permit with the business visa.
Okay.
But you only need a valid visa, whatever the visa that is. Tourist, business, visitors visa.
Okay, that means
whatever.
you need to present in Vietnam.
Yeah, you have to be in Vietnam.
So I think this is the case. For example, if somebody get a job in Vietnam, a job offer, and then they can travel to Vietnam with a certain type of visa, tourist, business, or whatever. I think the best is to be business visa.
Yeah.
And then when you are here, then your actual company start obtaining and applying your work permit. So okay, I understand
Yeah.
this. Yeah. I want to ask, which a lot of expats and local are aware of that on the visa group, Vietnam Visa Advice, is why most of the expats actually thinking that all, sorry to say, all visa agents are scammers. What's behind this?
I think there is.
I myself don't generalize because I've been working with them for my own case, but I know there are still professionals in the field which they tell you all the process and then the fee and the prices, and it's up to you. You want to apply it, go ahead. If you don't want to, just do whatever you want. But then I want to ask you, what is behind this? What is the word scams comes out of the visa agent?
Yeah. Well, I think there is a lot of reasons why they may have the impressions of all the visa agencies are scammers. It's not their fault. Some of them are actually been actually scammed by some of visa agencies because
Because I think if somebody come here, of course they do not know.
Yeah.
They are not aware of the work permit rules, visa rules,
Exactly.
and it's not like I'm here for 7 years and I know pretty much everything. Not everything is still not everything.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, when you come here as a newcomer, you probably don't know anything about it, and then you will probably go for the first option or second
Exactly.
offer,
Or the
something
cheapest
like-
one.
or the cheapest one. Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, so it's exactly the same with the law firms, problems in all around the world, right? So you even they work in law, but they find the way, or they know the people, and then for the first go, if they cannot do it, they can run away with your money,
Right.
pretty much. So the point is, you need to really make sure that who you're talking to, where the office, what the not only office but the website, the feedback about them, get to know them and get to know the person before actually give them the money to do anything, and also read more about the visa kind of process and why do they need it. If you like of these documents, can the other documents can fulfill it, or things like that. So some of them have actually been scammed. That's why they think that a lot of visa agencies are scammers. And the thing is that there are a lot of visa agencies in Vietnam, and some of the way that we marketing ourselves is to use word of mouth, which we get a lot of other smaller agents freelancing working for them.
Come to you, refer to
So
you.
refers it to us. Therefore, some of them, may becomes a visa agent for 1 month or 2 months. So they have no knowledge of the actual visa process or no knowledge about anything. Therefore, they cannot give you the exact consultation. And then, when things happen, when bad things happen to the process, during the process, or to the application, they don't know exactly how to explain to the person.
They don't know how to handle that because they
Exactly.
don't have the enough
then
experience
they
and
just
knowledge
disappear.
behind it, and disappear, and then you think all the visa agents are scammer.
Yeah.
So I think, all in all, the short answer to my question from you is, if you want to apply any sort of visa, work permit, TRC, or whatever related to visa in Vietnam, is that you need to refer to a company rather than a
Than just
middle
individual.
person. I don't want to say respect to all the individuals. So I think the best way is to just refer to a company with the websites, with the address, with the actual
Yeah.
address.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I think that would be better, because later if you are in trouble, then you can refer to an actual place and ask them what happened, because I didn't know you applied that for me. So you explained this to me. But then if
Yeah.
you are applied through an individual or freelancer, whatever it is, then you might get a scam. So
Yeah.
sorry about that. But then you need to pay attention, I think, more attention, and then I think everything will be fine. I myself have been here for 7 years, and then from the beginning, because I've been living on an expat life since 12 years ago, so I had pre-experience, especially in Asia, before I come here. So I knew how to handle with this. It's still difficult sometimes. You don't understand. Nothing is 100% sure here, based on my experience. But then the short answer is find a company, a legit company with an address, with a website, with a review. Go there, talk to them, and then see how things are.
Yeah.
So thank you, Annie. I just see a post in a group Vietnam visa advice. So I was like, this is a nice question. Let me ask you. So
Okay.
if I arrive before March 1st, 2020,
Okay.
and have a letter from my embassy, can I still get registered if I move to a new place in Hoi An? I didn't quite get this question.
I didn't quite get this question as well. Well, if you arrive in Vietnam before March 1st, 2020, you're not allowed to get the visa extension, the free visa extension
Before March 2020.
before March 2020. So you have to keep on getting extension. Now,
I pay for it.
Yeah, well, and then you pay for it monthly or every 3 months, or or you switch to, if you're actually working here, then you switch to a company, to switch to business visa. Now, I think because he gets the letter from his embassy, so he doesn't need to pay for his extension. So basically, the embassy can help someone to avoid to paying for this extension by giving you a letter saying, oh, immigration, the immigration, please help this person. This person is stuck in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the whole point is this person is stuck
Stuck
here.
in Vietnam.
Now, things are kind of open up, and a lot of airlines are going. So immigration would question you
Why do you
either
leave?
why are you not leaving,
Okay.
and that letter from the embassy actually grant you the permission to stay in Vietnam while you're stuck in Vietnam during the COVID-19, but not to continue to stay. So it's not a way for you to extend your visa. It's only for way for you to, if, for example, next month there's a flight to your country, you can get on the flight without paying any fine. Any fine for overstaying. So you can avoid the fine, but you cannot use that letter in order to extend your staying in Vietnam. So this is very tricky, part that you can probably move to Hoi An and Da Nang, but then you have to face up with a lot of questions from the authorities that
why did you move here?
Yeah, why are you still living in Vietnam if and then you can come up with okay, there's no flight because the embassy say no flight. Okay, that's fine. But as soon as you get the flight, they was gonna come back to you and asking the same questions why you still here, because that letter does not grant you the permission to extend your visa in Vietnam at all whatsoever.
Okay. So if you're coming before March 2020, government used to give you free extension because you've been classified under a person who's stuck in Vietnam and cannot.
No, after. So if you come to Vietnam after the March 1st, then you would have the free extension.
Okay. Okay.
But that also ending.
Okay.
Anyway,
so if you've been here after March 2020, you've been granted free visa extension, but then not anymore. You might get it if you have a letter from your embassy, but then your embassy, the immigration in Vietnam would question your extension while you are here because now flights are open.
Yeah.
So this is also not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And then obviously they would ask you, and then you would have to maintain here for long term. So this free visa extensions also go on month. You actually have to get your embassy every month letter to say that.
That's also a big hassle.
It is a big hassle, and it doesn't grant you the permission to stay. That's the thing, legally.
It's just for a temporary period of times because of
Exactly.
this COVID things going on.
And even if you enter Vietnam before the March the 1st, you can still get your embassy that letter and then stay in Vietnam, but only until a certain amount of time. So, and then after that, you have to, if you continue to stay in Vietnam for long term, you have to find a way to either, get a TRC, get a work permit, or some other way.
Okay. Another question that I can see is, I'm gonna be married in Vietnam.
Okay, that's great. Congratulations.
So, what sort of visa would I be able to get?
Okay, so you can easily get a marriage TRC, and with the marriage TRC, you can get up to 2 to 3 years for marriage TRC, which is the easiest way. Obviously,
do you still need work permit with that? I think no.
No, you don't need a work permit with that. You don't actually need a
You're
company.
Married? You're Vietnamese.
Yeah. So as I explained before, you need to be sponsored by someone or
a
company, right? So it's something that the government can control. And if you already you married, you are sponsored by your wife or your husband. And with that the case, then you have to prove that you're actually married to this person.
So
have
your marriage
the marriage
certificate.
And if you would register somewhere else in the world, you have to get that notarized as well in order to be used in Vietnam, legalized and notarized. And then
apply for a marriage visa.
Exactly. So you apply
Marriage
for
TRC,
the marriage TRC. Right now, if you are married to a Vietnamese person, you already have the marriage certificate. But if you are outside the country and your wife or your husband who are Vietnamese inside the country, you still cannot enter the country yet.
Yeah, that's a big topic actually. There are a lot of people who left Vietnam before the pandemic, and then for any reason, then the wife or husband is here and they still cannot get into Vietnam. It's a very
that is really a shame, because Vietnam is getting back up on economics, and they are prioritizing expert, meaning the actually workers who come into Vietnam to work.
They do require someone that can help the economy actually.
Exactly, and their spouse, not the Vietnamese spouse.
Okay.
That is, it's such a shame. But somehow they stopped doing that, and they prioritize the economics world first. And I think in the next couple of months they would open that soon.
Let's see. We don't know. Let's see. So okay, I think that was pretty much a lot of questions that we wanted to open up here for those of you who are either living in Vietnam or decide to moving to Vietnam and then stay for long term. So you have a couple of options. There is unfortunately no retired visa yet in Vietnam, unlike Thailand. Because in Thailand you can put some amount of money in bank, and then with the proof of that you can get retirement visa.
Yeah.
Philippines as well. but in Vietnam still not the case. I think it would be a good option if the government allow this for the people of certain age with a retirement status. Anyway, we don't know yet. So there is no retired visa. There's no freelance visa. So the option is either you work for some company that the actual company could be your sponsor to get a up to 2-year work permit and stay and live here, and then or move here and open an actual company, do your activity, whatever it is, and then based on the amounts that you put in the bank, you can get your TRC, and of course with the TRC you are eligible to live and work here. Okay, thank you, Annie.
You're
Last
welcome.
question. Oh, forgot. It's a Vietnamese Women Day, and I wanna say chúc mừng phụ nữ Việt Nam.
Thank you, thank you.
So yeah, your last words to people who want to move to Vietnam and work. What is your advice, your tips to those who want to come here and live and work, or work first?
Okay. Yeah, I think you know, there's a lot of information about these things, you know, related to work or visas in Vietnam online. A lot of them on you know, visa websites, but a lot of them on government websites. So do have a look through them first before actually coming to a visa agency, and do
To have
ask
some pre-knowledge.
yeah, to have some pre-knowledge first, and then you know, ask your company who sponsor you. Like, they have the administration office, and their administration office might know here and there what is going on in Vietnam for that. So do ask them, and the company can totally do whatever the visa is supposed to do for you.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes they don't have time, they don't have the people, they don't have the, you know, resources to do that. Therefore, they would also find a visa agency, and maybe you can ask them to find you a visa agency, because they would know who's good and who's bad, right?
Okay.
So use the local knowledge, and use up, you know, have some pre-knowledge about, you know, that before coming to Vietnam as well.
Okay, I think that was pretty straightforward and honest reviews and informations about work permit and TRC. Tell you one thing, as of today, it's Wednesday, 20 October 2021. There is nothing such as tourist visa yet for Vietnam.
Yeah.
You cannot come to Vietnam now as a tourist, unfortunately. We hope things open up soon, but this COVID is just closer than my t-shirt with me. So if your question is about tourist visa, coming here for traveling, for visiting your friend or whatever, there is not an option now. So you can still be here if you are an expert, and then if your company is eligible to apply for you under the expert status, then that's it. Probably we will make another video later when things are open about tourist visa and business visas, 1, 2, 3, 6 months visas that we used to have it before COVID, but not now, because this is not the case. One more time, thank you again for watching my video, and I hope this video finds you well, and I need your support. Like, comment, subscribe, and don't be afraid. Ask your question, and then probably Annie will answer your question. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.